I don't care what anyone says about the tank. I had fun watching last night's win, and I'll tell you why on today's Locked On Blue Jackets.
You're Locked On Blue Jackets, your daily podcast on the Columbus Blue Jackets, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Hello and welcome to Locked On Blue Jackets, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I am, as always, your host, Jay Foster, here to give you the good, the bad, and the ugly about your favorite team and mine, the Columbus Blue Jackets. Before we get started, I want to thank everyone for making this your first listen of the day every single day. Locked On Blue Jackets is free and available on all podcast platforms and over on YouTube. So, Blue Jackets won last night. Unexpected, exciting, record-breaking. We'll talk about that in a little while. But I see a lot of doom and gloom every time the Blue Jackets win a game. Which, by the way, since I said that the Blue Jackets might not win another game all season, I believe they've won 3 out of the 4. So that's on me, I guess. But just want to preface all of this with I really enjoyed the win. I thought it was a lot of fun. Nick Blankenburg goal injected straight into my veins. 6 defensemen goals. You love to see it, especially when the Blue Jackets, I feel like, have been dead last in defensemen scoring all season. This did not affect their place in the standings. They are still 5 points behind Arizona, and Arizona has a game in hand. So they could be as many as 7 points behind Arizona. The Ducks are, I believe, 8 or 10 points behind the Blue Jackets right now. So, they're locked in at 4th, basically. Unless something goes really wrong for the Coyotes or really right for the Ducks, this is where they are. So I've decided that, I'm just not going to stress about the Blue Jackets doing the thing where they go on a hot streak to ruin their draft position, because I just don't see their draft position changing. Regardless, obviously this doesn't count if they get screwed by the draft lottery again, but that's neither here nor there. That you can't control that. They can't control that. And honestly, this season has been so miserable that watching a good game and watching a good win, I'm going to enjoy it. I just am. And this was a good win as well. This was not like the win against the Avalanche, which was Daniil Tarasov showing up and everyone else was kind of there. Blue Jackets, okay, they got outshot by the Flyers, but a 6-2 win. Zach Werenski, 3-point night. The Blue Jackets held their own against a team that was supposed to be fighting for a playoff spot, and they scored a power play goal. They didn't allow a penalty kill goal. They didn't allow a power play goal. They're not called penalty goals. I don't know why I said that. And they held their own, like I said, against a team that going into this game, I was like, they're going to be desperate. They're going to be looking for a big 2 points. They've dropped out of a playoff spot right now, I think, thanks to the Penguins beating Tampa Bay, which it's going to be so funny if the Penguins, if Sidney Crosby single-handedly drags the Penguins into the playoffs. It's going to be very funny. The Flyers are currently, they have the same number of points as Pittsburgh, but Pittsburgh has a game in hand over them. So the Flyers have played 78, the Flyers have only played 77. So I don't know. I saw a lot of, again, doom and gloom from Flyers fans last night about how, well, they're done. They're not making the playoffs now. It's fine. Calm down. But this was a team that should have come out with a much bigger push than they did. But the Blue Jackets outworked them in the first period. They were mostly even in the second period. Philadelphia kind of came out a little bit in the third. They outshot the Blue Jackets 14-6. In total, they outshot the Blue Jackets 39-33. But considering the last handful of games here, it's been the Blue Jackets literally got doubled up on shots by the other team. I will take that. And again, we're going to talk about Jet Greaves in a second here, but good Lord. Another just truly, truly excellent game from him. Stopped 37 of 39 shots, has a 949 save percentage on the night and has improved to a 924 on the season. Small sample size, I know. He's played 5 games, or this season anyway. Or actually, I don't even think he's played 5 games. I think he's played 4 full games, plus he came on in relief against the Islanders for Tarasov. So he started 4 games and then played most of a 5th game. So again, small sample size, but in all but one of those games, he's been genuinely excellent. So you love to see it. This was my this has been my my it seems daily segment on, hey, the Blue Jackets goalie was great. But for a change, so was everyone else. Like, Jet Greaves absolutely deserved that win. Jet Greaves absolutely was a huge part of that win. But for the first time, legitimately maybe all season, the Blue Jackets defensemen showed up offensively. We've had games where, no one has showed up offensively except for one guy. But the Blue Jackets defensemen that have been non-existent all season. I'm just looking how many goals they have. Werenski and Severson have 9 goals each on the season. Gudbranson 6, Provorov 5, Bean 4, Boquist, Jiricek, and Blankenberg all have 1. Really great to see Nick Blankenberg get a goal, by the way. Again, we're going to talk about him in a second here, but like, they showed up in a way that they haven't all season. Like, going into this game, the defensemen collectively had scored 7, 7, 5, 5, 4, 1, 1, and 0. I can't do the math for that too quickly, but unprecedented this season, and quite frankly, unprecedented across the league as well. And we're going to talk about that record and why it's so cool in just a second here on Locked On Blue Jackets. First, I'm going to tell you about eBay Motors, because passion, drive, and patience is the formula for winning championships. It's also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance. They've got superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and more. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has you covered. They've got over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, so you're always going to find exactly what you're looking for. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every single time, or you're going to get your money back, because with eBay Motors, they want you to burn rubber, not cash. They've got all of the parts you need at the prices you want, so it's easy to make your car the MVP and bring home huge wins. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay Guaranteed Fit only available to U.S. customers. Welcome back to Locked On Blue Jackets, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. We're talking about the big win over Philadelphia, and we're going to talk about that a little bit more in just a second. But the Blue Jackets broke records last night, or they broke a record, and they did it in a positive way. It wasn't, like, the Blue Jackets allowed 14 shorthanded goals in one game, which is the most since the Toronto St. Pats did it in 1909 or whatever. 6 defensemen scored a goal for the Blue Jackets in this game. 2 from Werenski, 2 from Severson, 1 from Erik Gudbranson, who, by the way, is I believe if he scores one more goal, he is at a career high in goals, which he's already at a career high in assists and points on the season. But if he scores one more goal in the last 5 games, he hits a career high for all 3. And then Nick Blankenberg got his first goal of the season. You love to see it. He hasn't been in the lineup since, I want to say, since like November. I feel like the Blue Jackets haven't seen. So his games this season, he's played 7 of them now. He played for a 6-game stretch between December 7th and December 19th. And then got sent down. Got injured with Cleveland, I believe. Comes back up. Plays 13:51, which is way more than I expected, especially after he took that penalty like on the very first shift, the 4-minute double minor. But scores a goal. You love to see it. That might have ended up being the game-winning goal. No, it wasn't. It was Severson's second goal was the game-winning goal. But shout out to Nick Blankenberg. Anyway, 6 Blue Jackets defensemen scored in this game. That hasn't been done since before I was born. December 4th, 1992, the Washington Capitals had 6 defensemen score in the same game. The Blue Jackets, I believe, haven't had 4 defensemen or four goals from defensemen score in the same game since 2006 in Arizona. So extremely funny, especially because I feel like almost every single one of those goals, I was like, oh, that got tipped. Like the Gudbranson goal they thought was tipped, the Blankenberg goal they thought was tipped, Zach Werenski's first goal I think they thought was tipped. Turns out no, every single shot, defenseman straight through. Samuel Ersson had a rough night, but not entirely his fault. I feel like if you're going to get beaten by that many shots from a distance, like your defensemen aren't doing their jobs. And like I'd have to go back and watch all of the goals to make sure, but like most of the I think probably 4 out of those goals you were screened by your own defenseman. So like rough night for Samuel Ersson, but his defensemen sure were not helping him out. Not like our defensemen were helping out Jet Greaves, who again, fantastic. Finally got the run support that he didn't get in New York against the Islanders, or not in New York, but against the Islanders when he came on in relief last game, made like 24 of 25 saves over 40 minutes of play and didn't get a single goal in support of that from the Blue Jackets. He sure got that run support tonight. He was excellent. The Blue Jackets defensemen were offensively just on it. Zach Werenski with a new career high, which I believe he set last game, actually. But he had a 3-point night. He's at 52 points on the season. He is 5 points away from tying Seth Jones for the most points by a Blue Jackets defenseman in a season. He's got 5 games left to do that. I say he does it. We've already talked about Erik Gudbranson's career year continuing. That was his, I want to say, I've already talked about this. That was his 6th goal of the season, which he had 6 goals in Calgary in 21-22. 6 goals, 11 assists, 17 points. He's got 6 goals, 17 points, 6 goals, 17 assists, 23 points this season. So again, if he scores one more goal in the next 5 games, he's gonna set career highs in all of those, which I think that's fun. Again, once the season has like wound down properly, we'll start getting into like our reviews. Probably not gonna do the same as we did last time, which was every single player that put on a Blue Jackets jersey. I think I did 48 season reviews. But Erik Gudbranson is definitely going to be a guy that we look at because I'm really interested to go back and listen to exactly what Hayden and I said about Gudbranson last summer to see what happened this year and how right we were and how wrong we were, and to see if he did what we basically wanted him to do this season, to be a better Blue Jacket, because I think he did. In terms of other defensemen, or in terms of not other defensemen, I want to talk a little bit about Johnny Gaudreau briefly. Everyone has kind of been up in arms about him only having 11 goals on the season, which I agree. That's not as many goals as I wanted him to have, or as many goals as I thought he would have. But he's almost at 60 points on the season, which, considering he's had like no one on his wing for large portions of the season. He's at 499 assists. He had another 2 of them last night. It's been a while since he scored, but he's on a 3-game point streak right now. He's got 4 assists in his last 3 games. 6 assists in his last 5. Didn't register anything in the game against Pittsburgh, where they lost, but hasn't scored since March 16th versus the Sharks. Had a 3-point night then. But again, since then, he's played 9 games, I want to say. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and has 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 points in that stretch. So, like, yeah, I would love for him to have 11 more goals, but sorry, I would love for him to have more than 11 goals, but to say that he's not producing, I think is kind of disingenuous because he is, and he's still one of the best in the team at producing offense and creating offense, and just hasn't had anyone who is not named Alex Nylander able to put the puck in the net. So had, again, like I said, 2 assists last night. One of them at least was a primary assist. I'm just going to double check. So he assisted on both of Severson's goals, had a secondary assist on the first one, had a primary assist on the game-winning goal, the 3-0 goal that would end up obviously being the game winner there. But a good night all round. James Malatesta, first NHL assist. Zach Pucher, that's not correct. Mikhail Pucher, first NHL assist as well. Points for Danforth, Nylander, Texier, Voronkov. Jiricek gets an assist on the Blankenburg goal, which, hot take, that should be a defense pairing full-time next season. It just should. I don't know where Denton Matejchuk fits into it, but like maybe if your top 4 is Werenski, Severson, Jiricek, and Blankenburg, like I feel fine about that. Would love to see Denton Matejchuk get into the mix. Obviously, Erik Gudbranson is going to be there. Like if that's your top 6 for defensemen, like I feel okay about that. Probably what's going to happen is Ivan Provorov will return and Blankenburg will get sent back down to Cleveland, but we'll see. Who knows? And then, there's Jake Bean to contend with, who has had a really good season until a broken hand put him out, which I was convinced that he had broken his foot blocking a shot, but I guess maybe it went off his hand instead, and so he's got a broken hand. He's done for the season. Boquist, I assume, will be back at some point. Change your number, my guy. Like, the number 27 is cursed in this organization. You've got to change your number. But all things considered, that was a fun game. I really enjoyed it. Everyone did just great. Would I have liked, I would have liked to see some more offense coming in from the forwards. Like, James Malatesta was this close. Oh, sorry, Carson Meyer was this close to scoring a beautiful goal on Sam Ersson. Didn't end up doing it. And honestly, by that point, I was kind of committed to the oops all defenseman scoring that was happening. But Blue Jackets play again tonight. They play in 9 hours, I think. Can they do to Carolina what they did to Philadelphia? We have to talk about that. So we'll do that in just a second on Locked On Blue Jackets. First off, did you know that if you even have a 401... First off, did you know that even if you have a 401k for retirement, you can still have an IRA? Robinhood has the only IRA that's going to give you a 3% boost on every single dollar you contribute when you subscribe to Robinhood Gold. But get this, now through April 30th, Robinhood is going to boost every single dollar you transfer in from other retirement accounts with that 3% match, and there's no cap on that 3% match. Robinhood Gold gets you the most for your retirement thanks to that IRA with their 3% match. And once again, this offer is good through April 30th. Get started at robinhood.com/boost. Subscription fees apply. And now for some legal information. Claim as of Q1 2024, validated by Radius Global Market Research. Investing involves risk, including loss. Limitations apply to IRAs and 401ks. A 3% match requires Robinhood Gold for 1 year from the date of that first 3% match. Must keep Robinhood IRA for 5 years. 3% matching on transfers is subject to specific terms and conditions. Robinhood IRA is available to U.S. customers in good standing. Robinhood Financial LLC, member SPIC, is a registered broker-dealer. Welcome back to Locked On Blue Jackets. We've talked about the game against Philadelphia and how great it was and how much fun I had. They have to play again tonight. They have to play against a team that is not fighting for a playoff spot. They are playing a team that is fighting for that first seed in the Metro, because there's only 2 good teams in the Metro division this year, and that's the Rangers and the Carolina Hurricanes. Now, the Blue Jackets, I believe, are done with the Rangers for the season, but Carolina Hurricanes, already terrifying and got better at the deadline. So the Blue Jackets haven't won against the Carolina Hurricanes this season yet. They lost 3-2 in the first game and 4-2 in the second game. Jake Gensel has 5 points in his last 5 games for this team. He has 5 assists and 8 points. So 3 goals as well. They've got just wonders in goaltending with Pyotr Kochetkov, who's got a 9-10 over 40 games. Freddie Anderson, who's been missing for most of the season, has come back and went like 5-0 through the month of March. Has a 9.27 and is 11-2-0 on the season. So again, a small sample size, but that's some really great goaltending. Spencer Martin, old friend, is there as well, but my money is on facing one of Kochetkov or Anderson. It's just a really goddamn good team, guys. Like, they're not the flashiest team, but they went out. They were good all season. They got better at the deadline. They picked up Gensel. They picked up Evgeny Kuznetsov, who has had a hot start for them, but is still finding his way a little bit. They have won 7 of their last 10 games compared to the Blue Jackets, who have won 3 of the last 10 games. They are coming off of a win over the Hurricanes. They are the Hurricanes. They're coming off of a win over the Capitals, who are another team that's fighting for their playoff lives right now. Literally no one wants to make the playoffs in the Metro Division. Like, I talked about that a little bit earlier, about how there's only 2 good teams. But when you look at the standings, it's hysterical. Because the 3rd seed in the Metropolitan Division, the New York Islanders, are 18 points behind 2nd place, which is the Carolina Hurricanes. And they would be, well, if they were in the Atlantic, they would be behind the wild card spot and 3 points behind the Red Wings, who are currently 3 places out of the wild card spot. So, like, just truly stupid. No one in the Metro wants to make the playoffs right now. The Penguins, the Flyers, the Capitals, and the Red Wings, who are obviously in the Atlantic, but they're all within a point of each other. They're all ostensibly fighting for the playoffs, but apparently Pittsburgh's the only one that cares. Since losing to the Blue Jackets, they've won 4 in a row. Meanwhile, the Flyers are on, I think, a 7-game losing streak. The Capitals are on a 3-game losing streak. The Red Wings lost last night. No one wants to make the playoffs. So you'd like to think that something fun's going to happen there. I don't know what that fun thing is yet. I think the Buffalo Sabres leapfrogging everyone might be the most fun. But we'll see. The point here is that there's only 2 good teams in the Metro Division this year. The Rangers have 108 points. The Carolina Hurricanes have 103 points. Then the Islanders have 85 points in 3rd place. But Carolina Hurricanes, like I said, they are a good team that got better since the last time the Blue Jackets faced them, which was February 29th. So I believe this was the last game before the All-Star break, actually. But the Blue Jackets will face them tonight and then again in about a week and a half. So next Tuesday to finish the season, the Hurricanes will be in town. This is going to be a tough game. Like I said, Jake Gensel has been on fire since arriving. Seth Jarvis is just a tiny monster. He's got 62 points in 77 games. He has been a real kind of breakout player for the Hurricanes this season. Sebastian Aho, always dangerous. 86 points in 74 games. He's leading the team. Svechnikov has had kind of a down year. He's been injured a bunch, but he's always dangerous as well. In the last game these 2 teams faced off, goals came from Teravainen, Aho, Brady Shea, and Seth Jarvis with the empty netter. And then in the first game of the season, the first matchup in the season, Kotkaniemi, Brady Shea, and Svechnikov scored then. That was, I think, maybe the first time when I was like, something is happening here, which was that the Blue Jackets had a 2-0 lead and then lost 3-2 in regulation because, of course, they did. That was back in November 26th. So really, we should have known then that something bad was coming. Jake Gensel, I talked about him a little bit there, but he always has big games against the Blue Jackets. I don't have the numbers specifically, but it feels like he was a Penguin for a long time, and the Penguins have kind of feasted on the Blue Jackets for like 17 years straight. Gensel is always involved in those games, so like I don't know that the Blue Jackets have seen Jake Gensel this season. I feel like he was injured for all of the games that the Blue Jacket played the Penguins. So I'm just gonna see if I can double check that real quick. But I don't know that he has played the Blue Jackets yet this season. So he's probably got like 4 goals stocked up, waiting for. Oh no, he played November 14th against the Blue Jackets, had a goal and an assist. And that, I believe, is the only time that he's faced them this season. But if he could not do that, that would be fun. I am not expecting us to win this game, by the way. Like that, just to start things out. It would be great if they did. Again, it's not going to affect their positioning in the standings. Arizona still 5 points ahead. And even if they lose, I don't think the Blue Jackets are going to get caught by the Ducks, who are 10 points behind with like 5 games left. So Blue Jackets are probably going to finish 4th overall in the Celebrini sweepstakes. So I'm just kind of gonna vibe, and I'm gonna enjoy watching the kids play, as they say. Which the kids have been playing a little bit more recently. In terms of ice time, I know that we're talking about the Hurricanes now, but looking at the ice time, Puccia played 16 and a half minutes. After playing 5 minutes a couple of games ago, Malatesta played just under 11 minutes. Carson Meyer played just over 10 minutes. Like I said, Blankenberg played almost 14. Jiricek played 13, which is not as much as I want him to play, but it's still more than I was expecting him to play. So if we could have more of that, I would like to see that. I would like to see less of Erik Gudbranson leading the team in ice time, which has been rare this season, but is still happening. It happened against the Flyers. But the kids are playing. Would love to see them do the same thing versus Carolina. And, those are just like the kids. Cole Sullinger played 15:46. Voronkov played 16:31. Like things are happening. In terms of let the kids play, which is fun. So like that's kind of how I feel. Like if they win this game, great. If they don't, at least let the kids get some serious ice time. And that's not even getting into the goaltending, which I'm not sure who's going to start the game tonight, because obviously the Blue Jackets, Tarasov is going to be unavailable probably for the rest of the season. Elvis is still day to day, so I would guess that tonight's tandem is going to be Greaves and Subban. If Elvis is okay, they might send Subban back down. But I don't know if they'll start Elvis or if they'll have him backing up. I can't see a world in which they start Malcolm Subban. I just, sorry to him, but I can't do it. In 86 career NHL games, he's got an .898 save percentage. Hasn't played in the NHL since 2021-22. Played 4 games, didn't win any of them, and had an .871 save percentage. He's been fine in the AHL this season, mostly for the Thunderbirds, where he was traded from. I don't think he's been great since coming to the Monsters. I'm just pulling up the Monster stats right now. He's got a 901 save percentage in 35 games this season, but he's got a 907 in Springfield, where he played 31 games. In 4 games for Cleveland this season, he's 0-3. Has an .853 save percentage, and has allowed 17 goals on 116 shots. So hasn't been super great for the Blue Jackets organization. And frankly, Greaves has played well enough against the Islanders and played well enough last night and didn't face a bajillion shots. 39 is a lot of shots, but it's not like he didn't face 45 or 50 shots like he has done this season. I suspect that what they'll do is, I think Jet Greaves will probably start tonight, unless Elvis makes a miraculous recovery and has decided that he is well enough to start tonight's game, despite not being well enough to even back up last night. My guess is that we see Greaves against Carolina tonight, which is fun and a little bit stressful, but I believe in him. Like I said, he's been great this season. Small sample size. He's been fantastic in the AHL on a much bigger sample size, and I'm excited to see what he does against a team like Carolina, who can and will make the Blue Jackets pay severely. So that's kind of what I've got for today. Tomorrow, I think we've got a double episode day in that we're going to talk about the game versus Carolina, and later on in the evening, I've got another prospect profile ready to drop. So I talked to Brock Otten over at McKean's Hockey all about Artem Levshinov, who is the big man over at Michigan State. So we talked about that. We talked about the USHL. We talked about all kinds of things. So we're going to do a double episode day tomorrow, recapping the Carolina game, and then talking about Artem Levshinov with Brock Otten of McKean's Hockey. I've been Jake Foster. You can find me on Twitter at _Jacob Foster, JAKOBFORSTER. You can find the show at LO_Blue Jackets. If you have comments, questions, criticisms, you can email me at lockedonbluejackets@gmail.com. We're also over on Instagram at LO_Blue Jackets. We're free and available on every single podcast platform you can think of. We're over on Sirius XM. We're on YouTube. And I appreciate you guys for making me your first listen of the day every single day, even on a Sunday. Until tomorrow, make sure you stay locked on.